everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Hayley and I am a first time mum to a little baby boy called Oliver who is coming up to a year old. I cannot believe those words are coming out of my mouth. I think the past year has just gone so quickly and so fast. I've blinked and I've nearly missed it. Honestly, it's been a whirlwind, let's just say that. But as you would have seen in today's video, I am going to talk about my first year of motherhood. And I just want to say that everybody's journey, especially if you're a first time mum, is different for everyone. But things that I've discussed with other mums, and a lot of them have been able to relate to what I'm going to talk to you about today. So hopefully this will help you. This isn't to put the fear into anyone. This isn't to make anyone about becoming a mum or anything like that. This is just a real open, honest conversation about my experience as a first time mum and wanting to share it with you guys, because ultimately that's what I'm here for on this channel. I just want to share all of my experiences with you as a mum, and hopefully that will help you guys too. So let's get into it. Now, when I think about my first year as a mum, if someone was to ask me what's the one word you would use to describe your first year as a mum, and I would honestly say the word that springs to mind straight away is overwhelm. Total and utter overwhelm. Now, that could be overwhelm of happiness, sadness, anxiety, stress, joy, like a mixture of emotions. And the one thing I would say about motherhood is it is a roller coaster. There are some really amazing highs and there are some really difficult lows. And I think in today's world we like to pretend everything is, perfect. It's all beautiful flowers and roses, and that's one thing I can say about motherhood. Definitely not. It's really, really challenging and it changes you as a person, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more later. But I would say the overriding word for my journey in motherhood is overwhelm. And I know everybody says it, but it's so true. And if there's one thing I want you to take away, wherever you are in your journey in motherhood, whether that's you're due to have a baby, whether you're at the beginning, middle, end, wherever you are, everything is a phase. Every single moment is a phase. Every day is a phase, and it will pass. And you will look back on some of those phases and wish that you could have them again. And I know you don't believe me right now, but it's true. We were totally out of our depth. We had no idea what we were doing. When I say to you, everything is a phase and it will go quickly, trust me, it does, and it will. And you will want to relive some of them. Some of them not so much, but some of them you will. Now, I have written a list because I could talk about this for hours. But the biggest thing that shocked me is the lack of help and support you get from professionals. So I felt like, especially in the UK, no fault of our NHS system, is nothing to do with that. It's, the lack of resource that they have, and that's not obviously their fault. But once I left the hospital, I was alone. Obviously I had Mike, but both of us were alone. And we literally checked in with our healthcare advisor twice, probably, in the space of a year. And actually, no, that's a lie, three times we checked in with them. I could not believe the lack of support you get when you leave the hospital. I genuinely thought I would have this huge comfort blanket, let's just say, because that's how I felt in hospital. I felt like I had this massive comfort blanket, and then I left and I was like, oh my goodness, what on earth do we do now? As I said, we had a really poorly baby, and the first reason about actually when it comes to my first year of motherhood, and one of the biggest struggles that I faced, and one thing I would give any piece of advice to, is learn what colic and reflux is. Oliver had both, and we had no idea what either of them were. We did do baby classes, but neither of us really knew what colic and reflux. Well, I'd never heard of reflux before. I'd kind of overheard people talk about colic, but never reflux. And for the first 6 to 8 weeks of Oliver's life, he was in constant pain. constant pain. And obviously we weren't ever checked in on. Nobody was that bothered about us, and we ended up going to the doctors, honestly, every single week from the moment we got him home. Because, and this is another thing, if you think something is wrong and your gut is telling you something is wrong, 99.9% of the time, probably 100% of the time if you're a mum, it is right. So listen to it, because we kept going backwards and forwards to the doctors, and we kept seeing the same doctor, and he kept saying the same thing, and we were like, no, something is wrong with our baby, this is not right. So I asked to see another doctor. As soon as we saw another doctor, they diagnosed Oliver with colic, and we used Infocol. Hang on one second, I'm going to grab it. Okay, I'm back. So, I've brought both up, but Infocol looks like this. When it came to colic, or Oliver's colic, it was because of his wind. It was triggered a lot by his wind. And the Infocol is what helped him to alleviate that pain of not being able to wind properly. So if your baby struggles with wind and you're really not sure what it could be, obviously speak to a medical professional. But we found that Infocol, he winded within seconds after his bottle, whereas it was honestly taking us about an hour to wind him. By the time, when he was a newborn, by the time we'd fed him, changed him, winded him, got him back down, he was probably asleep for about 45 minutes, and then he'd wake up again in pain, and it was just, it was a journey, guys, it was a journey. So definitely look into colic. And the other thing was reflux. So we, like I said, ended up going to the doctors, but we actually spoke to a different doctor who nosed Oliver with reflux, and they gave us Gaviscon Infant, which is, it looks like this, and basically it's like little sachets like this that you put into their milk. When I say his symptoms kind of alleviated themselves within a week of using the Gaviscon, oh my goodness, he was a different baby. He was a completely different baby, and that was for the reflux. So we probably used the Gaviscon for, I say, about 3 or 4 months. It was when he got to about 6 months we stopped using it as much. We still did it a little bit, but we almost weaned him off it just to make sure, and that's what our doctor recommended that we do. But with his reflux, what happened was, again, we would be able to wind him because we were using the Infocol, but then as we'd lay him down, obviously the milk would be coming back up, and he was almost making like this gurgling noise, and the reflux was obviously coming up, and it was sitting kind of in his mouth almost. It was until he was 2 months that he didn't actually get diagnosed with reflux, and it was just the worst feeling because he would wake up screaming in pain, and we would be like, what is going on? And it was just a nightmare. So the one piece of advice I would initially give you guys is look into colic and reflux before you have a baby, if you've had your baby yet. And if you have your baby and they have similar symptoms to what I've kind of talked about, then I would definitely speak to a medical professional, and I would definitely think about potentially looking at colic and reflux as an option. The other thing I really spent a lot of time worrying about in my first year of motherhood was Oliver's development, and that could be milestones that he was reaching. It was when we were weaning. Oh my goodness, I had the most anxiety when it came to weaning him, and hit the fear of him like choking. And just his development in general, I had no idea what I was looking for. I didn't know what he should be doing at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And again, it became so overwhelming because I was like, if I don't know what my baby is doing, should be doing, then how do I know if he's going in the right direction? And the best advice that I found was from the Carnahan family. Oh my goodness, they were amazing. Their videos are amazing on development for babies up until infants, up until children. It's so helpful, and I can honestly say they were pretty much spot on with the majority of milestones that Oliver had. However, the bit of advice that I want to give you is, 1, never compare your baby to other babies. They will develop when they want to develop. And 2, I really wish I'd stopped worrying about it so much and just been more present with them. And just kind of watch them grow and learn in their own time without worrying about it constantly. So when it came to his development, I did get a lot of kind of stress over it, I'm not going to lie. But he's just, you know, he's thrived and he's done it in his own time. And I really wish I just kind of sat back, just watched him learn and grow and just not worry about it so much. Feel as comfortable as you are comfortable. So if you're stressing about it, they're going to stress about it because they're going to feed off of that energy. Because as a mum, nobody knows your baby as well as you do. And it's really important that you remember that whenever you're going through anything with your little one, you know them better than anyone else. So just stick to that gut feeling and just do what's right for you and do what's right for baby. One of the biggest things I struggled with in motherhood was lack of sleep in the beginning. And again, I know looking back now, the majority of that reason was probably because, one, we weren't feeding Oliver enough. I don't think we were giving him enough feed during the night for him to sleep through. 2, because of his colic, and 3, because of the reflux. I think it was kind of a combination of things. And I'll feel a lot better when baby number 2 comes along. But I could not function and I was not the same person without sleep. And I know that Mike felt exactly the same. Now, I get that having a routine for some mums, it's just not an option. It's not something they want to do, and I completely respect that. I really, really do. As I said, whatever you feel is right for you and your baby, you need to do. But for me and for Mike, we needed a routine. We needed some form of structure, and we needed to get sleep. I'm going to be honest, we did. We needed sleep. And Oliver has thrived in a routine. I will be completely honest. He really has thrived in a routine, and I'm glad we did have one. But one of the things I wish I'd known when it came to a routine was wake windows. Now, if you've not heard about wake windows, basically it's the amount of time that your baby should be awake before they nap. And I hadn't even heard of this before. I had no idea. And again, it's down to the Carnahan family that I learnt about this. And I will pop on the screen now the wake window chart that we used. And also, I will pop in the description box below everything that I'm speaking about, just to help you. But wake windows saved us. They genuinely saved us, and they got Oliver into such a routine. Now, I know that some people don't like routines because obviously it does limit kind of what you can do throughout the day, but I could honestly say me, Mike and Oliver, we were all completely different people once we got our little one into a routine and once we were following those wake windows. So if you are similar and you want to get your little one into a routine, 100% use the wake windows chart that I've shown you. Honestly, it saved us. The other thing I just want to touch on very quickly when it comes to kind of sleeping and napping and getting them into a routine, we also followed the eat, play, sleep. So we would give Oliver a full feed, then we'd let him play, and then obviously once it was time for his nap, we'd put him down for his nap. And again, that worked a dream. It worked a dream. So yeah, I would definitely say if you want to get your little one into a routine and you, like me, are horrendous without sleep, then look at wake windows and try and follow, if you can, the eat, play, sleep routine. Now, this might be a bit of a controversial one, and some people might not agree with this, but I was really shocked at the amount of people I thought would come and visit us that didn't, and quite frankly weren't really that bothered that we'd even had a baby. Now, I bought hundreds and hundreds, not hundreds, that's very dramatic, Hayley. I bought lots and lots and lots of baby outfits, cute baby outfits, because I was like, oh, everyone's going to come and see the baby. I want them in a really cute outfit. I want them to see how cute they are. Nah. I can honestly say probably 30 to 40% of our friends came to see our baby. The others haven't even seen him now. I just thought that people would be more interested and people would make more of an effort, and it, like I said, it really got to us a little bit that people didn't. And on that note, I would say don't bother buying loads of cute outfits, especially when they're little. Even if loads of people do come round, you're probably going to find you're going to keep them in baby growth anyway, because 1, it's easier, 2, they sick and poop a lot, and so you end up changing them 400 times. And They actually look really cute in a baby grow, to be honest. Don't be surprised if people aren't as invested in your little one as you think they might be, and don't bother buying loads of outfits if that's the reason you're buying them. Brings me on to losing friends. So I wouldn't say I've necessarily lost friends, but there's definitely friends that I'm no longer in touch with or speak to as frequently anymore. And obviously when you become a mum, your priorities change. And as I just mentioned, a lot of my friends, they don't have children, so can't relate to where I'm coming from, or they can't relate to what I'm saying or what I'm going through. And that's okay. Like, that's completely understandable. If you've never gone through something, you're never really going to understand what that person's going through. But again, was very surprised at how I would lose friends quite quickly because I wouldn't reply to messages straight away, or I wouldn't be able to go out and do things that we all used to necessarily do. My priorities have changed. I'm a mum. And yeah, it was really quite difficult at the end because that's when you need people the most. When you've had a baby, you are at your most vulnerable and you are in need of people around you to help you and guide you, and just really felt like that with some of my friends. And as I said, as a result of that, we don't really talk much anymore. We don't really have the same interests anymore, and that's okay. But it was really difficult for me because you're already kind of in this baby bubble. You already feel really, really lonely and out of the loop with everything. And then you feel like, you know, you haven't really got anyone to talk to that can either understand you or relate to you. And that's why I would say one of my biggest pieces of advice is, one, don't worry about it. Your friends that are good friends will still be there. They will be there and they will be there every step of the way. So don't worry. It actually teaches you who your friends are and who your friends aren't, to be honest. But what I would also say is you will make other mum friends. And oh my goodness, they will become your ride or dies. They will get every single thing that you are saying. They will be able to relate to you in a way that you've never felt like you could relate to anyone before. And you will have the strongest bond you've ever felt in your life. So even though you might lose friends, don't worry too much, because I can assure you, when you start making new mum friends, it's a whole nother world, guys. Don't worry too much if you're in that boat at the moment. It will change. It does get better. You just have to give it time. The other thing I would say about that is, and it's actually really, really important, I was not the type of person to accept help. Even now, I find it so, so difficult. But if somebody offers to help you or offers to do something for you, take it. Take it with both hands. Trust me. Do not feel guilty. Do not feel bad. Do not feel any of those emotions. Take it. They wouldn't be offering if they didn't want to do it. And actually, I really struggled to have anybody help me. And when I first had Oliver, I didn't want anybody to help me. I felt like I should be doing it all on my own. I should know what to do. Nobody knows my baby better than me. You know, I'm the mum. I should know what to do and I need to do it all. And it's not the case, guys. They say it takes a village for a reason. So if somebody is offering you help and support, take it. Take it, take it, take it. You will not regret it. You need to be able to have time to look after yourself. And if that means someone comes around and cooks you dinner, my friend Hannah, bless her, she made a couple of dinners. She brought them round so we could have them, so we didn't have to cook. I will never forget that. I will never ever forget that, because that's something that I would never have accepted before, but it meant so much to me and it made such a big difference. Why struggle on your own if you don't have to? As much as my stubbornness inside of me wanted to say, I can do this on my own, I don't need any help, I don't want to be weak. Nah, forget it. Goes out the window. Just accept it. Just do it, just accept it, and just take it. Just take it, because when else are you going to get offered this amount of help? So just do it, and don't be afraid to ask for it as well. I now say to my mum and dad, please can you have Oliver for a couple of hours just so I can have a nice long shower or a nice long bath and just have some time to myself. There's nothing wrong with that. So accept help and ask for help. 100% you need it. So this is something that's been talked about a lot when it comes to motherhood, and it's something that I'm still struggling with now, and I'm glad that there's a lot of light that's coming to it, but it's the mental load of being a mum. I can honestly say that is probably, to this day, the one thing I struggle with the most. Even when I might get half an hour to myself, in my head I've got this running to-do list constantly going, and it can burn you out. It really can burn you out. And this is where my snapping tendency came into play with Mike, because he would ask me questions and I'd be like, you should know this. Like, it might be, where's the baby wipes? In the same place that they've always been the year that he's been alive, in the drawer in his nursery. Like, what are you talking about? And if you start to feel the same, 1, ask for help. 2, if you're with somebody, let your partner know. Let them know what's going on, because it might be a really small, trivial question to them, and they might think you're overreacting by snapping or shouting or whatever it might come out like, your emotion might come out like. When they understand why, it will change, hopefully will change everything. Because once I explained it to Mike, he was like, yeah, I get it. I have my moments now where I'm like, I just overflows, overflows, and so snappy, so ratty, so overwhelmed, and just mentally exhausted that I would just sit in silence for like minutes, because I just needed to decompress and just recharge almost. So I would definitely not recommend getting to that point. I would just say, whatever your coping mechanism is or strategy is, obviously use that, but communicate. So important. I'll be honest, this is something that really caught me off guard, and I really did not see it coming at all. And it's, again, is something that I struggle with a lot, and that is mum guilt. You think you felt guilty before? Oh my goodness, you wait till you feel that mum guilt. Whole different level. It's craziness. I remember thinking, I am the worst mum in the world. I am the worst mother in the world. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with this feeling of pure and utter guilt for my baby. I didn't know what to do. And it can be extremely consuming. It really can be. So what I would say is, when it comes to mum guilt, I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to happen. But what I would say is, the thing that I found the best, or the thing that I found the easiest to kind of help me alleviate that feeling, is 1, give myself a break. Remind myself that I am doing the best that I can. I am doing everything in my power to do the best that I can. 2, the reason I feel mum guilt is because I care for my baby so much. I literally adore that little human with every single fibre of my being. We give ourselves such a bad rap as a mum, and we put so much pressure on ourselves, and I think there's so much pressure on us in society as mums. There's this warped vision of what motherhood should be, especially on kind of Instagram and TikTok, and how amazing it should be. And I'm guilty of it, don't get me wrong. But there's also those moments of pure and utter guilt where you just feel like, oh my goodness, I feel like the worst person in the world. And you're not the worst person in the world. You are doing your best, and you are doing an amazing job, and that's all you need to remember. But it's really difficult to deal with, especially when I didn't even ever think about dealing with mum guilt. I didn't even really know what it was. And then when it first hit me, boy, was that an experience. But I've learned to deal with it a lot better by doing those simple things that I've just mentioned. But just don't be so hard on yourself. Just make sure you are comforting yourself and know that you are doing the best that you can do. And actually, something that brings me on to the next one, and which is linked very interestingly, is I did not realise how much having a baby or having a child would trigger my inner child. And motherhood has brought out all of those things that I've been trying to keep buried deep, 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 deep down inside, all the way up to the surface without me having any say in it whatsoever. And I have never had to find so much strength in myself to deal with situations that are triggering me from having a child, and yet try my hardest to stay calm and not let it trigger me. I, again, didn't even consider how having a baby would make me feel. The thing I will say is it has healed me in ways I cannot imagine. Having Oliver has genuinely helped heal me so much that I will never be able to thank him enough. He has taught me the art of patience. He's taught me the art of love, unconditional love. He's taught me the art of strength. There is no stronger human. Oh my goodness, the things you go through throughout that first year of parenthood is just undescribable. And like I said, it will trigger you. You will realise how strong you are. You will realise how patient you are. You will realise nobody can come between you and your baby. And it doesn't matter about all of the external things. All you care about is this little human. And by healing those wounds, shall we say, I've become so much more secure in myself as a person. I have become so much better as a person. I'm such a better person than I was a year ago. I can honestly say from the bottom of my heart, yes, motherhood has changed me, but my goodness, has it changed me for the better. And that's going to bring me on to actually the next thing, which is coming to terms with the fact that you are not going to be the same person that you were pre-baby, but that does not mean to say that you're not going to be a better person or a better version of yourself. Motherhood will bring out the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's no denying that. It will literally bring out every side of you, but it will also make you realise how much of an incredible person you are, and how this little human relies solely on you. Their whole world is you. And what an amazing gift to be able to give this little person everything, at the same time become this better person for you and for them. And, you know, everybody will say, you've changed. Good. I'm glad I've changed. I don't want to be the same person that I was a year ago. Are you kidding me? I am so glad that I am a changed person now. I feel like I'm a much better person now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So yes, don't get me wrong, trying to find yourself again after you've had a baby is extremely difficult, and coming to terms with the fact that you have changed is way harder, because people will keep telling you that you've changed, and there's almost a part of you that wants to go back to who you were, because you know who they are, you know who that person was, you've lived with them for however many years before you had a baby, but you're not that person now. You are this new person, and it's amazing that you can grow into this new person and you can become this better person, this better version of yourself. And I've really enjoyed it. I hated it in the beginning. I really felt lost, to be honest. I really didn't know who I was. I was like, who am I? I know that I'm a mum. I know that I'm Hayley, but what does that mean together? But now I've got to a point where I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I don't care what anybody says about me. All I care about is that I am the best mum that I can be, and I have this amazing little human that is healthy and happy. That is all I care about. Everything else I do not give a monkey's about, and there's something so refreshing about that. And I've never been like that in my life. I've always worried about what people think about me, but I soon came to realise that as a mum, you will be judged. You will have people look at you and how you parent. You will have people tell you how to parent. You will have people tell you that you're doing things wrong. But there is something so refreshing about saying, I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. I'm going to do what's best for me, and I'm going to do what's best for my baby. And that's that. So yeah, even though I might have changed, I genuinely feel like I've changed for the better. And having a baby it's probably given me that push that I needed to make those changes, because I probably would never have done it. So if you're fearful of the change, don't be. Embrace it and just look forward to this amazing person that you're going to be and you're going to become, because it really is a journey, but it's a special one at that. The final thing that I want to talk about then is the strain that it puts on your relationship. Now, I had no idea that it was going to put the amount of strain onto my marriage that it did. And this is just me being really open and really candid, and maybe I share too much sometimes, but if it's going to help someone, then I'm happy to do it. But me and Mike have been married, it'll be 3 years this year. So we'd been married a year and a half, I think it was, just over, before we fell pregnant with Oliver. And we had been trying for 3 years pre-conceiving with Oliver. So if you've seen my trying to conceive journey, you'll know. But I had no idea. And again, I know I shouldn't, but I blame Instagram and TikTok for these things, because I thought it was going to be this amazing baby bubble where we were going to be so in love, and you know, we were going to just have this baby and it was going to be perfect and it was just going to be all rosy. It was at times, but at other times, as I said earlier, it was stressful, it was tiring, it was pressured, it was emotional, it was overwhelming, it was anxiety led, it was really difficult. And I can honestly say this is the hardest year we've ever had in our marriage. And I think firstly that's because there's so much change. Everything changes. Your relationship obviously changes, but it changes in a way that the person that has always been the focus in the relationship, so for me obviously Mike has always been my sole focus, you know, he's like my ride or die. I love him so much, but all of a sudden that love is then, I say split, but let's be honest, probably not split in half, because then you have this little human that I've grown this bond with, I'm ready for, I've felt this baby grow, I know what's coming, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's this baby. And obviously, as I said, Oliver was poorly, so that added massive strain. Then obviously he had to go back to work, which added even more strain. And I was really poorly as well in the beginning. Again, if you've seen my 4th trimester video, you'll know. But I really struggled in the 4th trimester and I was in a lot of pain. And I didn't necessarily bond with Oliver as much as I wanted to, but also I didn't feel like I could go to Mike because I was in this really difficult headspace. And we have really had to work hard at our relationship, to make time for each other, to prioritise each other, to acknowledge each other. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but sometimes you're like ships in the night, and the only time you will see each other or speak to each other properly is when you go to bed. And 9 times out of 10 that is, oh my goodness, I'm so tired, I'm gonna go to sleep, gone. So I would say make sure you make time for each other, make sure you make that quality time for each other, give each other attention and love still. I know it's hard, I mean, sex goes out the window. I have not got time for that. I'm exhausted, I'm tired. And again, that was very difficult, but once I explained it, he kind of got it. But that obviously changes as well. Your relationship, your sex life changes. And so, you know, dealing with the fact that you're no longer that centre of attention is really, really hard. But also, you're constantly being triggered by this little person that needs you constantly, and you're not sleeping, you're not eating well, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're snappy, you're ratty, my hormones just everywhere. It's been really, really hard, and I was not prepared for that. I honestly thought we were going to all be, you know, like I said, sunshine and roses. It's going to be the most amazing thing in the world. We were all going to love each other, you know, amazingly, and we do. It's taken a lot of adapting, and I think that for me personally, I had rose tinted glasses on, and how it actually was compared to what I thought it was light years apart. Honestly, it was so different. But I can, with my hand on my heart, I can honestly say that by talking to each other and communicating effectively, by both working so hard to try and understand each other and help each other, and to stop competing against each other. That is the worst thing you can do. If you keep competing, saying, well, I'm doing this and you're not doing this, but I'm doing this and you're not doing that, it's a recipe for disaster. Try not to go down that road, is my biggest piece of advice. So by not doing that and by listening to each other and genuinely trying to understand each other, I can honestly say we have become so much stronger and so much closer as a couple. Was it how I wanted it to be? No. Do I feel a little bit of sadness with that? Yeah, I do, because I probably set myself up for a fall, I'm not going to lie, but there has been good that has come out of it. And you know, now that we are in this position where we both feel a lot more comfortable as parents, and you know, we kind of understand each other better, and we kind of understand our roles as parents, as husband and wife, it's become a lot better. But I was not prepared for how difficult it was going to be having a baby in our relationship. Listen, and listen as much as you can. Try not to take it out on each other, and do not make it a competition, because trust me, that will lead to nowhere apart from upset and hurt. And you're both doing your best. You are both trying your best. You've just got to work extremely hard at getting to the point where you feel you don't want to kill that person anymore. So guys, I think that's it. I'm just double checking my list. I think that is it. I hope this has helped you guys. Like I said, I have thoroughly enjoyed motherhood. It has been, like I said at the beginning, a roller coaster. It's been a challenge. It's taught me things about myself that I had no idea about, and it's genuinely made me a better person. I wake up every day so grateful, because as long as Oliver's happy and healthy, and he's okay, and Mike's okay, that's all that matters in my world now. And it's so lovely to have this family unit, and to have all grown together. We've all changed, but we've all grown together, and we now have this lovely little bond as a family of three, and I absolutely love it. And if someone had said to me a year ago, this is how I would be feeling, I'd be like, absolutely not. This is going to be the longest year of my life, but it has gone in a flash. It really has gone in a flash, and I just feel so grateful every day to have experienced this. And I really hope that if you are on your motherhood journey, or you're about to start your motherhood journey, that you just embrace every moment, because it does go so quick. And I would do anything to go back to that beginning stage again. I really would. I found it hard. I found it really, really hard. But I now feel prepared to deal with those things that came up. Whereas in the beginning, guys, I had no idea. I literally didn't have a Scooby-Doo about anything at all. And when I look back and I think about how far I've come and how I've overcome all of those feelings and emotions and challenging times and difficult times, like, I am proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. Nobody can take away what I've achieved this year, and I've got this incredible little human to show for that. And you know, that makes me so proud, and it makes me so happy. And yes, it's hard, yes, it's difficult, but I would not change it for the world. I literally love and adore that little baby boy with, I say baby boy, it's coming to a toddler now, but I adore him with every single ounce of my being, and I would never, ever, ever change it for the world. So if you're about to start your motherhood journey, or you've just started it, then buckle up, guys. Buckle up for the ride, because it's going to get bumpy, but I can assure you it will be the most rewarding times of your life. So on that note, guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I've really loved bringing you along for my journey, and I can't wait to share more with you. If you haven't already, make sure you press that subscribe button so that I can continue to share all of this amazing experience with you. And don't forget to comment and like down below. I'm going to pop everything in timestamps so that you can go back and watch it again if you want to. And also I'll pop all of the products and little hints and tips that I mentioned earlier into the description box below for you too. But for now, I'm going to see you in the next one, and I hope you have the most amazing day. Take care.